Brandon Walker, more Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. My name is Brandon Walker. That's because that's my name. I am here in the SEC Country studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. I've got the classic Wrecking Crew on the other side of the glass. I've got Terp on the mic. I got Landshark on the video. We are doing a fantastic job here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. I'm excited about today. Got Steve Robertson coming on the show. We'll talk about recruiting. We'll talk about Mississippi State continuing the momentum they built in recruiting a couple of weeks ago. We'll definitely get into that. We'll also talk about Martinez Rankin in the NFL draft tonight. Today is draft day. I love the NFL draft. Absolutely love it. And we'll also talk about something else. It's a big baseball weekend for Mississippi State. As you can see, I have my baseball logo shirt on. We got Texas A&M coming into Starkville, Mississippi State against Texas A&M. Huge series this weekend for this team. A suddenly huge series as this team has put itself in a position to really matter coming down the stretch, which is a pleasant surprise and a gigantic turn of events and terrific job by the team. Today, Thursday Throwback Trivia. We'll have 6 questions, 5 questions, 6 questions, however many I've got. We'll have 6 questions testing your knowledge of Mississippi State sports and Mississippi State history. We'll have Thursday Throwback Trivia. I'm excited about it. I don't know about the difficulty today. I think a couple are really hard. I think a couple are pretty easy. So I would say it's about in the middle. Love the DAC Bell. Thank you, Grace Thacker Good. Don't forget to mention the news about Fletcher Cox. Says Amy Hall, are you talking about Fletcher Cox having a road named after him, or is something happening this morning that I'm not sure of? Point City, hello, Junior Ray. Hail State from Pistolville, enjoyed meeting you in Stark Vegas last Saturday. Blake Dees, I enjoyed meeting you as well, sir. Hello from my MSU Man Cave in Brookhaven, Grady Stokes. Lynn Rhodes-Gilmer checking in from Sologent. Lynn Rhodes-Gilmer, always a favorite of the show. Will Boudreaux Sturgis from Senatobia checking in this morning. Hail State from Ringgold, Georgia. One of my 2 Ringgolds are checking in this morning. Danny E. Pinter here. Who's my other Ringgold? I know I've got 2. My mic just changed. Did I just get louder for some reason? You're just playing with the mic over there? Yeah. Turb, how excited are you to be disappointed by the Giants' pick tonight?
Not gonna be disappointed.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Saquon.
You think it's going to be Saquon?
If he doesn't go 1, yeah.
You don't think they'll try to go quarterback?
No.
I mean, they need a quarterback. They got Eli Manning, for God's sake.
He's the GOAT.
He's the what?
The GOAT.
He looks like a
greatest
goat.
Of all time.
Greatest of all time.
Better
what?
Than Dak.
Better than Dak who?
Prescott.
Is there another Dak I don't know
How many
about?
Super Bowls Dak got? 0.
Dak's been in the league 2 years.
How many rings?
How
many rings?
Hail State from Flowwood, Mississippi. Trey Adcock. Hail State from Hazelhurst. Michael Clyburn. Shannon checking in with Chad Mask. Florence, Italy. Jeff P. taking us national.
Firenze.
Wow. Florence, Italy.
Gusta
We are international today. Hail State from Baton Rouge, also a different country. Hail State from New Braunfels. I've never known how to say this. New Braunfels, Texas. New Braunfels, Texas.
How's it spelled?
You can see the exact same screen I can see. You can see the exact same screen I can see.
Okay.
Do those helmets fit? Asked Matt Wyatt. Yes, for those of us who have hair, the helmets fit just fine. Thank you, Matt Wyatt. Hail State traveling south on I-95 south in North Carolina, headed back to Starkville. Russell Berry. I'm pretty sure I met Russell Berry this weekend too. Hail State from Tampa, Florida. Nice to see Matt Wyatt here. Nice to see him anywhere. I saw him last week. He was dressed like an out-of-shape softball player on his day off. Good for him. Good for him. Hail State from Faulkner, Mississippi. Faulkner, Mississippi, I believe, is in the northeast corner or the extreme northeast portion of Mississippi, somewhere up there. Or maybe just the north. Matt Wyatt says, prove it. I don't believe you. I'm not proving anything to you, sir. I don't. This is my show. This is not head-to-head. Only one head on this show. And I don't have to prove anything to you, sir. And we have tried the helmets on Terp, right? And pretty much determined that they don't fit me.
The one helmet fits me.
One helmet fits you because you have a normal-sized human head. Yeah. But
you could probably make that one fit.
I could make it fit. It wouldn't be comfortable.
Put it on.
No, I'm not putting it on.
Put it on.
I'm doing a show. I'm not putting a helmet on.
Do you want to see how Brandon put the helmet on?
No, nobody wants to see Brandon put the helmet on. I wish I could have, but I was working in Virginia. I met somebody named Barry. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Russell. It was somebody named Barry. Michael Clyburn says this is the best M-State show. That is correct. From a talent standpoint, Barkley should go number 1, but we know it depends on the team's needs. Bobby Lauder. Yeah, I always lean towards quarterbacks. I mean, it's the most important position on the field. If you're in the top 5, you probably need a quarterback, so go ahead and take a shot. Somebody says take the pads out. That's not nice at all. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate this. Thank you, Matt, for starting this helmet discussion. It's great. Hail State from Eufaula, Alabama, right across the line, down there near Auburn, I think. What is happening? Why is Brian Haydad here? If you want to see Brandon put the helmet on, give me a hell yeah. No. What is happening?
Hell
all right?
Yeah.
No. Stop.
Put it on.
I'm not putting it on. I'm not putting the helmet on. Why are they – what is happening? Are they all sitting in Starkville saying, oh, let's go on Brandon's show and make him do something ridiculous? Blake D says, I think my Pats take a QB first round. That's possible. Kevin Wright says they have the number 4 pick. They should take a quarterback there. You're talking about the Browns. They have number 1 and number 4. I think
a lot of hell yes, I see.
I see that. Notice I didn't ask for the hell yes, okay? That's somebody else. That's a fan of the show. A big fan of the show. I think you should do the entire show with the helmet on. When are you going to do Friday shows like the B&B show? Well, my Monday through Thursday shows are so superior, I don't feel the need to spike the football and have a Friday show. But soon, when the season starts, about August, I think we'll start a Friday show. Terp, we're going to have to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you'll probably not be working here anymore because you know how terrible you are. Helmet, says Jay Stubbs. That's great.
Let's do it.
That's great.
Put it on.
Huh?
Put it on.
No.
A lot of people want to see you do it.
I don't care.
Not a man of the people?
Which helmet?
The other one. One on your right.
Why this one? This was the fake one. This is the real one.
That one then.
This one?
Yeah. Put it on. There you go. There we go. Will it fit?
What? No. It doesn't fit. I would like to try to put the helmet on. It doesn't fit.
It stretches.
It can't physically go on my head. That's as far as it's going. There. I hope you people are satisfied. I'll try this one. This is the fake one. This is not the real one. This one doesn't even have pads in it.
There's a block in the middle of it.
Oh my God.
Oh, there you go.
There. I got the helmet on. Turb, I can't get it off. Okay.
There you go.
I hope everybody is satisfied today. That was ridiculous. I don't know why that had to happen, but it did. Now, Terp, we're going to talk to Steve Robertson, who's probably waiting somewhere in Starkville right now wondering what I'm doing. We're going to talk to Steve Robertson on the phone about recruiting. We'll talk about Martinez ranking the NFL draft. We'll talk about baseball this weekend, and we'll have Thursday throwback trivia at the end of the show. Terp, are you ready?
Yep.
Well, then just do it. Don't say yeah. Just start the show.
I always say yeah.
Please start the show. Please start the show. Please start the show.
It's the More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
That is me, Brandon Walker, More Cowbell, the Mississippi State Podcast, coming to you from the SEC Country Studios, not wearing a football helmet today. We are here on a Thursday. Let me ring us in. All right, we have started the show officially. It is NFL Draft Day, which if you're a fan of the Dolphins like I am, you're prepared to be incredibly disappointed tonight. I'd like to see Dak Prescott get some help in Dallas. I'd like to see him get some receiver help or some defensive help. Other than that, we'll talk about the NFL Draft when we talk about Martinez ranking in just a little bit. I think he is Mississippi State's Well, our best chance to get drafted up in the second round tonight. I think second or third round is a good place, although second round is not tonight. It's tomorrow. I think that's he's going to be the one player that gets drafted in a good spot for Mississippi State this year. We'll talk about him. Baseball, a huge series this weekend. And at the end of the show, we'll do Thursday Throwback Trivia. I've got 5/6 questions today to ask you. And if you can see me on Facebook Live, on Twitter, on YouTube, you can tell I'm wearing my fabulous Mississippi State baseball polo with my junction bell here that I got from Maroon & Company in Starkville behind Chick-fil-A on Highway 12. At Maroon & Co. on Twitter, maroonandco.com. You can see all these bells, that Dallas Cowboy or that Dak Prescott Star Bell right there I got from Maroon & Company. It is a great place. Check it out. And we're going to start the show, though, not talking about Martinez ranking in the NFL draft, not talking about baseball, instead talking about recruiting and the spring game and everything happening in Mississippi State. And to do that, we go to the guy that knows about that the most. We go to Steve Robertson, who joins us almost every Thursday, and he is here today. Steve, thank you for joining the show.
Happy to be back, Brandon. Hope things are well with you guys in Atlanta.
Things are well. I got to tell you, I do Facebook Live right now. I do Facebook Live every day, and in the comments, Brian Haydad's hanging out, Matt Wyatt's hanging out. So obviously they want to see the two most talented people on the Mississippi State beat talk. So you can feel good about that, Steve. That's me and you.
I would tend to agree with that. I mean, not to be arrogant or haughty, but I think that's probably fair, and I hope that Matt and Brian can learn a little something today.
I have no problem being arrogant or haughty, and let's go ahead and talk about Mississippi State recruiting. Well, actually, let's go ahead and talk about the spring game. I know you were at the baseball game, but I know you probably went back and watched the spring game some. A huge weekend for Mississippi State last weekend, Super Bulldog weekend. I was there. Whoa, we good? Okay. I was there. It was a huge weekend with the spring game, Joe Moorhead's first game, and baseball with the sweep. What did you think about Super Bulldog weekend? What was your experience, Steve?
You know, I tell you, I had a great experience, and then on top of that, talking to other people, we don't think it could have gone better. And I think that's probably the best thing that you needed there was to have a great experience, to get kids on campus, and for them to have an opportunity to see Mississippi State kind of at their best. And I really believe that's what happened with State. They gave their best foot forward, and as a result, people saw the best of Mississippi State. You had a great baseball weekend. You had a great spring game, set a record for school attendance for spring games. And so from that point, I think that things went according to script, and then as a result, you've had a lot of kids that have left Mississippi State with a very, very positive impression of the Bulldogs. And I think with where you are in recruiting right now, this past weekend could not have been better and was very beneficial to their recruiting efforts. Okay,
I'm glad you went there because that was my next question. Okay, so coming out of the spring game, State had plenty of recruits there, had a lot of energy in the stadium, on campus, had great environment all weekend long. But no commitments came out of that spring game yet. And when fans don't see commitments immediately, they think, well, did it go okay? Did everything go okay? But you're telling me right now that it went very well, even though commitments haven't happened yet.
You know, we entered the weekend with 6 official visitors coming. 2 of those guys were already signees. We had Caden Crumity and Dollar Bill Quatravius Johnson. So with 4 2019 guys taking official visits, the first spring official visits have ever been allowed. The new rule changed this year, and I don't think it'll stick. But all that said, we went into the weekend expecting maybe Martin Emerson might commit. But he was really the only one that we really saw as a possibility. You never know when these unofficial visitors may decide to pull the trigger. But Paul and I both discussed this. We went into the weekend, just didn't expect a lot of commitments. Maybe you get 1 or 2, and there may still be some residual effect from the Maroon and White game that might pop up here in the next week or 2. But with coaches on the road, I think right now everybody's kind of happy with where they are and out there doing some evaluations and looking for some more kids to add to this class.
So Mississippi State had a wave a couple of weeks ago where you got Schrader and you got Torbor, and then you got the guys from Mississippi. You got the offensive lineman Cunningham from the coast. You had 5 4-star commitments or 5 3 or 4-star commitments in the span of 9 days. Haven't gotten a commitment since then. State fans, are a pessimistic lot. Is there any reason to be worried that State hasn't gotten a commitment since that wave of recruits a couple of weeks ago?
No, absolutely not. I think if you look at where you are now, I mean, you've got 16 spots to fill. The spring evaluation period is here, and you got the June camps and Big Dog camp. And let's say you pick up, 2 or 3 during the spring evaluation, then you pick up, 2 or 3 in the June camps and 2 or 3 at Big Dog camp. Well, at that point you're starting to get full. You're really really down to just a handful of spots. And there are a lot of guys in our state this year, several of the blue chip prospects, who plan to wait out the process and take most of their official visits and then make a decision sometime around December. So I think state's right on pace and right on target with where they want to be as far as the number of commitments. I mean, sure, they could go out and get some kids to go ahead and jump in the boat just to get their name in the paper so people could write an article about having the number one recruiting class in the country, but I think that's beneath Mississippi State. So what they'll do is go out and get bona fide, certified commitments from guys that they really want to have in their class come December, and I think that's what you'll see going forward.
God, I love Steve Robertson. That was just a total unnecessary shot, and that is completely what we are about here on this show. In percentage, as we go into the summer, as we go towards, I guess the next big thing is Big Dog Camp, which will be sometime in June or July, I guess. As we go towards the summer, what percentage do you think Mississippi State's class will fill up in the summer?
Well, I understand Mullen State kind of did their best recruiting in the summer months, and you kind of got full in those June and July camps. And so it'll be interesting to see how Joe approaches that, because there were times, when you'd have guys in June ready to commit, and then Dan would kind of encourage them to wait and hold the announcement, for Big Dogs to make a big splash. And so I don't know that Jim Moorhead is the guy that wants to kind of manipulate things for headlines. So I think it'll be once they decide they want some guys, they'll go ahead and take them and not really manipulate the timing for PR purposes. I think it'll be a real genuine effort. But all that said, I think once you get ready for fall camp, I think State will probably have close to 75% of this class done, and then just be kind of waiting out some of the blue chip guys who want to take visits.
All right, 2 more questions about recruiting. What do you think this staff's next big priority is in recruiting, whether it's a player or a position or anything? What do you think this staff's next big priority is in recruiting?
Well, I think receivers are interesting, because I think you've got to be able to stack on that personnel group. You had a really good signing class for 2018, but you got Quentin Torborn now, but I think State's got to go out and find a couple of other guys. We've talked about Keziah Brewer from Knoxville County for 2 years, it seems. And then there's some other guys like Jordan Jernigan from Tupelo. I believe those guys are there for the taking. But when you're on spring evaluation trips, you're going to find guys you like as much or better than those guys. And so I think that's probably the biggest thing right now with Luke Getsy is finding out what his needs are. He's gone through spring now. He kind of knows the hand he's been dealt. Now he can kind of adjust his recruiting efforts based on that. So I think recruiting offensive linemen and wide receivers probably the 2 biggest priorities now, because on the defensive side of the football, I think by and large you kind of know who those guys are going to be. You kind of know who you want. There's so many great defensive linemen in this state. And of course, one of the best linebackers in the country, Derek Call at Gulfport. So you have a pretty good idea of who the priorities are on the defensive side of the football. And I think the next few weeks will kind of determine and kind of rank the pack for those offensive line and wide receiver groupings.
Boy, I don't know who's texting you, but they want to talk to you very, very badly. Last question about recruiting, and I have no idea what it is. Oh, this is way out. So we've talked about the 2019 class forever, and this is, 18 months down the road, but Joe Moorhead's going to need to stack good recruiting classes. Tell me about the 2020 recruiting class in state, just on the surface, as, eventually we'll turn the page to that. I know everything about the 19 class, but will Joe Moorhead be able to follow that up with a good in-state haul in 2020? Is there enough out there that's possible?
And there's always enough guys to make it a good class. I think it's too early to determine if it's going to be a great class, and I think the season will obviously determine a lot of that, and Mississippi State is expecting a big year this year, but I just don't know that the talent pool for 2020 is quite as deep as 2019. There are some headliners out there, and I think that's when we get into June camps, we'll begin to see how serious those guys are about Mississippi State. But the thing that I've been impressed with Joe Moorhead and his staff so far is that was the big concern coming in. They're bringing in all these Northerners. They don't have ties to the South, so they've come in here and did exactly what Joe Moorhead said they would do, and that's recruit and work hard, and they're seeing the benefits from it. Sure, maybe you don't know the lay of the land. Maybe you don't know how to get to Wayne County High School or know where Bassfield is the first time that you get in the car. But if you can recruit and build relationships, you can do that pretty much anywhere. And I think Jim Moorhead and the staff are showing that.
Fantastic, Steve. Always a pleasure to have you here. Hey, one last Facebook Live question. Somebody said, ask Steve if he would have walked Jake Mangum the other night.
Well, I tell you, I would have, only if I was Mike Bianco, because if you let Mangum hit and he hits a double in the gap and drives in the game time run, you're not going to win either way. And I think Mangum simply has their number. I think being a baseball purist, more times than not, I kind of agree with never putting the game-winning run on base, especially in the bottom half of the inning. But all that said, I think Bianco was kind of in a no-win situation. The best he could hope for was to walk him and maybe try to put a double play in order. And And, of course, it didn't work out the way they wanted. But, I think Jake has their number, and I think you got to make somebody else beat you.
Well, there you go, Facebook Live. He answered your question. He's just as wrong as Mike Bianco was, and just as wrong as you guys are. But that is Steve Robertson. He is he's my favorite guest that we have on the show. We often have Matt Wyatt and Brian Haydad. They are nowhere near the quality of the guest that Steve Robertson is. Steve, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, bud. Take care.
Thank you. All right. I hope that dog gets whatever it's barking for. My name is Brandon Walker. You are watching More Cowbell and listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. A couple quick topics I want to hit before we get to our Thursday throwback trivia. And I'm worried about Brian Haydad being in there because he is very, very used to losing trivia contests when it comes to me. So, number 2, we're going to talk about the draft, NFL draft tonight. Now, Martinez Rankin probably not going to go in the first round. Probably going to be a second-round pick, maybe a third-round pick. It continues Mississippi State's pretty impressive legacy in the NFL draft the last couple of years. Look at what we've already got in the league. Dak Prescott, Gabe Jackson, K.J. Wright, Darius Slay, Bernard McKinney, Preston Smith, Chris Jones, Pernell McPhee. I could go on and on and on, but these are not players in the NFL. These are not bodies in the NFL. These are all good players in the NFL. Darius Slay is a Pro Bowler. Dak Prescott, Rookie of the Year. Chris Jones, going to be a Pro Bowler. Gabe Jackson, a Pro Bowler. Fletcher Cox, a Pro Bowler. A Super Bowl champion. We put good players in the league, and I expect Martinez Rankin to continue to be a good player for Mississippi State. I expect him to kind of follow that Gabe Jackson path of being a good offensive lineman in the NFL because he is a classic Mississippi State draft pick under Dan Mullen. He came to Mississippi State as a JUCO transfer, wasn't ready. They redshirted him. They developed him. They got him ready. And as a junior, he got better. As a senior, he became really, really good. He was hurt, but he is still coveted by the NFL. He's probably going to be a guy that can play either guard or tackle. He can go all up and down the line. That's kind of his versatility. But I think Martinez Rankin is going to be a good NFL player and will join the ranks of a very impressive group State has in the NFL. Very excited about where he goes this weekend. Now, next year, though, I think we're back in the first round. I think Jeffrey Simmons is a first-rounder. Montez Sweat could be a first-rounder. And then State will be all over the draft next year. I don't know how many. I'm guessing 6, 7, 8 could get drafted next year. That's how talented I think Mississippi State is. Now, baseball has put itself in position for a big weekend. Who could have imagined this a couple of weeks ago? 5-10 going into the Arkansas series in SEC play, and then they sweep Arkansas. Then they beat Ole Miss dramatically the other night. They've won 4 games over top 10 teams in the last week. They have shot up the RPI rankings. Mississippi State baseball all of a sudden is a team that matters in the postseason race. But to continue to matter, they have to continue to win games. Texas A&M this weekend, that's a big series for Mississippi State, and I'm not going to get into the pitching matchups. I'm not going to get into what this team has to do, what this team looks like. I'm going to just say this season has been an amazing roller coaster. This team has been fun to watch. It was, got rough for a while. They started rough. Andy Cannizaro put this team in a bad spot, and see, I stopped myself. I'm getting better on the Andy Cannizaro jokes. But this kind of reminds me of last year. That team last year with so many injuries, a first-year coach, only Brent Rooker and one more player, Gridley, coming back from the lineup in 2016. They had no reason to be competing for an SEC championship to the last weekend of the season, but they did. This team, this group, this makeup, they just seem to know how to turn it on when they have to turn it on, and it's very exciting. If they can win 2 of 3 this weekend, they are right in the mix for the SEC West. They're right there with Ole Miss. They're right there with Arkansas. They are right in the mix. What an incredible turn of events for a team that just won't quit. It's an outstanding time to be a Mississippi State fan and has been for a while. Now, Thursday throwback trivia. This is how it works. I ask you a question. You give me the answer on Facebook Live. If you're on Twitter, you can tweet me the answer. If you're in your car listening to the podcast, just shout the answer, pull somebody over, yell it at them, whatever you want to do. Now, I am worried about Brian Haydad here because I know he is good at trivia. I hope he has left. It is, it's 11:10 there, so all the lunch spots are open in Starkville. That should help. Now, number 1. Sorry, Brian, you're my guy. Number 1, in the 1990s, Mississippi State football had 2 first-round NFL draft picks. Who were they? In the 1990s, Mississippi State football had 2 first-round NFL draft picks. Who were they?
Fred Smoot.
That is incorrect, and you don't get to answer. But he was a second-round pick. He also wasn't in the 90s. Jay Hammers Googles it quickly. Jay Hammers with the quick Google. Garrett Weaver says Womack. Everybody's got the right answer. Same year. 1996, Eric Moulds and Walt Harris. So that wasn't that difficult of a question. But you know what's interesting to me? I was looking this up this morning. Mississippi State in football had 2 first-round draft picks in the 90s. They were both in 96. Mississippi State basketball had 2 first-round draft picks in the 90s. They were both in 96. All 4 first-round draft picks in those 2 sports happened within a month of each other in 1996. It was Eric Moulds and Walt Harris. Number 2. Which pitcher holds Mississippi State's career record for strikeouts? Which pitcher holds Mississippi State's career record for strikeouts? Which pitcher? A baseball pitcher. Not a pitcher, a T. Facebook Live is thinking. They're Googling. They are definitely Googling. Taking you guys some time here. What's happening? Get the questions and get the answers in. Stratton, no. Mahalam, no. Holder, no. Brantley, no. Brantley, no. Ross Mitchell, no. Stratton, no. Holder, no. Kenny Manning is first, although he misspelled it. Jay Stubbs is second. David Creasy is third. The answer, most strikeouts all time by a pitcher at Mississippi State, Eric Dubose. Eric Dubose, 94 to 96. The all-time leader in strikeouts at Mississippi State University. Number 3. Who is Mississippi State basketball's all-time leader in three-point shooting percentage? Mississippi State basketball's all-time leader in three-point shooting percentage. Is that the DAC Star? Can't see due to the banner. There it is. That is the DAC Star. That's what that is. Darrell Wilson, that is incorrect. Jay Hammers, that is incorrect. Darrell Wilson, Ken Jernigan is also incorrect. David Creasy says, I got a ball signed by Polk, Dubose, and Rusty Toms. That's great. Wilson, no. Timmy Bowers, no. Winsome Frazier, no. Double D, I don't know who that is. It's Super D. Barry Stewart, no. Barry Stewart, no. Wilson, no. Brandon Walker, no. Close. Jeff Malone, no. He didn't shoot three-pointers. Brandon Walker, still no. Greg Grimm, no. Rayvern Johnson, bam. Ethan Fleury is first. Isaac Sparks got it. Several guys got it now. David Jeffcoat. Shane Power, the all-time leader in three-point shooting percentage at Mississippi State. Number 4, and I think this would be difficult if Haydad weren't here. I feel like Haydad's going to know this. In the 1996 Egg Bowl, Mississippi State scored 2 defensive touchdowns in a shutout victory. Who scored the touchdowns? Who scored the touchdowns? 1996 Egg Bowl, State scored 2 defensive touchdowns. Somebody said I could take the helmet off now. That's not funny at all. Who scored the touchdowns in the 1996 Egg Bowl? Brian, why are you here? Why are you here, Brian? This is fun. We could have had fun. So Tim Nelson, no. Favors, no. Big Prather, Robert Bean, no. Somebody says I was there but do not remember. Brian Haydad is correct. The answer is Eric Brown and Kevin Sluter. Eric Brown with an interception return for a touchdown, and Kevin Sluter with a fumble return for a touchdown in the rain. So there you go. That was did somebody say Jackie Sherrill is here? That is fantastic if he is. That is fantastic. What a day. What a day. But that was a fun game to watch in the rain. I think State had a safety that day, a perfectly timed blitz in the 1996 Egg Bowl, and Eric Brown had an interception return of about 10 to 15 yards, and Kevin Sluter had a 48, 49, 50-yard fumble return for a touchdown that took him about a week and a half to get there. It was great. It was a fun time. Number 4 or 5, whatever. Got 6 questions today. I might add a 7th just in case, just see what mood I'm in. Number 5, which baseball team, which year, has the record at Mississippi State for the most victories in a season? What's the winningest baseball team in school history? What is the winningest baseball team in school history? Put the helmet on for Coach Jackie. I'd love to put the helmet on if it fit. I need Jackie Sherrill to send me one of the helmets from his years. I need that interlocking MSU. I thought I saw Jay Hammers had the right answer. Brian Haydad, everybody's saying 2013, 2015, 85, 2013, 14. No, the answer is 1989, 54-14. The 1989 team won more games than any other in school history. 2013 won 51. I think 1985 won 50. But 1989, with Pete Young and John Cohen and that whole group, they won 54 games. 54 games. Number 6. Who holds Mississippi State football's career record for receiving touchdowns? Who holds Mississippi State football's career record for receiving touchdowns? At least you have the earmuffs to cover those Will Smith ears, says Blair Chandler. That's not nice at all. It's not Will Smith ears. I have Paul Feinbaum ears. My ears are much bigger than Will Smith's. Marty McDowell, no. Molds, no. Blair Chandler has it. David Shirley has it. Brian Haydad has it. The answer is my good friend, Chad Bumpus, who scored 24 receiving touchdowns. Chad Bumpus didn't retire, but he left Mississippi State with pretty much every receiving record. I don't think he got receptions, but he had receiving yards. He had a couple of others. The only one he has left is the receiving touchdowns record. He does have that. He is still the all-time leader. Fred Ross kind of took a couple of records from him, but he is the all-time leader in receiving touchdowns. Last question. Who holds Mississippi State baseball's career record for doubles? Shout out to Chad's mom. Hey, Chad's mom. Who holds Mississippi State's career record for doubles? Doubles in a season. Or doubles in a career, excuse me. Doubles in a career. Brent Rooker, no. John Knott, no. Clark, no. Rooker, no. Frazier, no. Pete Young, no. Rooker, no. It is not Rooker. Mike Kelly, no. He holds a career record for triples. Brent Rooker is not correct. Palmero. Jake Mangum will break it, says Toby Denton. Nobody's getting this. I'm very proud of myself. See, I added this last question. God dang it, Brian Haydad. Go ruin your own show, all right? You got your own show that you can go over there and sit and make your Star Wars references and hear Bob Karskad and go, oh. Brian Haydad is correct. The answer is Travis Chapman. Travis Chapman, the all-time leader in doubles at Mississippi State. All right. That went a little longer than I wanted. But we are finished. That is going to end it on the podcast. Facebook Live, stick with me. I'll come back and talk to you in just a second, and Twitter and YouTube. On the podcast, that wraps up the week for us here on More Cowbell. We'll be back on Monday. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Brian, how come I haven't been on your show recently? I've always heard that the best B&B shows are when I'm the second B, so how come I haven't been on your show recently? Can you answer that question to the people? The people are right here. You got 159 fans right now talking to me and you. Why haven't I been on your show? Tell the people. Me and Brian ate at Anthony's the other night in West Point. It was delicious. Had a great conversation, except for the Penn State fan that sat down and talked for 200 minutes.
Big Ten.
Haydad is a ringer and Bob is missing a finger, says Jay Hammers. You want to join me and record tonight, Brian Haydad? No, I really don't. I want to watch the NFL draft. I want to get disappointed by the Miami Dolphins pick. But if you really need me, I suppose I could pinch hit for tomorrow's B&B show.
What pick do the Dolphins have?
They have 11. 11.
Who are they going for?
Probably they have the 11th pick, so probably the 25th or 26th best player in the draft.
Fair enough.
Soggy Burnsville, Mississippi, Hail State. He should have you on. Bob is there like once a week, says Chad Mask. Jared Montour, I'm sorry. I didn't see you say Bumpus. I apologize. This happens. The Facebook comments go really quickly. They go really quickly. Was Jackie Sherrill really here? The great Jackie Sherrill. Was King Jackie really here? Why does most of your generation show such a bias towards LeBron? David Jeffcoat. I have no idea. I think my generation is just protective of Michael Jordan. I guess the greatest they want the greatest player to come out of our generation, and Michael Jordan did have. I mean, he's been the greatest of all time. But I'm ready to change. I'm ready to tell you that LeBron James is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan was. He doesn't have the accomplishments. He doesn't have the rings yet. But as far as on the court, Michael couldn't do what LeBron can do. Fins may trade up for a QB, says Steve Martin. I would love for that to happen. If we could get Josh Rosen out of this draft, I would be the happiest person in the world. Jonathan Philly, I'm not wrong. I'm not. Who goes number 1 tonight? I think it's Baker Mayfield, which is shocking to me. I can't believe Baker Mayfield's going to go first in this draft. But it seems like reports are indicating he's going first. I just don't see it with Baker Mayfield. Do you see it with Baker Mayfield, Turp?
No.
I don't see it. I think Rosen's the best quarterback in this draft. I don't see it with Sam Darnold. I kind of do see it with Josh Allen. Nobody else wants to admit that, but you got to have some measurables. You got to have these things in the NFL, and NFL draft guys do know more than we do. I don't see it with Lamar Jackson. I don't think he's going to be good at all. Uh-oh. Are we getting into LeBron James talk and Michael Jordan? Bobby Lauder says Michael Jordan is so much better than LeBron. Basketball isn't nearly as physical as when Jordan played. No, it's not as physical. It's just better.
Why is Kobe not in this discussion?
Because he's not a top 10 player of all time. Kobe Bryant is not nearly the cal. Doesn't matter. Robert Horry has 7 rings. Is he in the conversation?
Yeah.
It's not. Kobe Bryant's not in the conversation with LeBron and Michael Jordan. He's just not. But was it more physical in the 90s? Yeah. Was offense as good? Not even close. Offense today is much better. Do you think Minkah Fitzpatrick will live up to the hype? I do. I think he'll be good. I think he'll be really good. I think he'll be one of the best players in this draft. Josh Allen has that it factor. Shaq is better than Kobe, says Toby Denton. Brandon, I hate the NBA, but you are insane if you don't think Kobe is in the top 10. Who are you knocking out to put Kobe in the top 10? Hold on.
Are we going through this right now?
No, I'm not. Just in my mind. Hold on. Is he better than Michael and LeBron? He's not. Is he better than Magic and Larry? He is not. He's not better than either one of those guys. Is he better than Tim Duncan in his own era? He's not. Is he better than Hakeem Olajuwon? I don't think he is. Is he better than Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain? No. Is this real? The Kobe Bryant's a top 10 player? You guys for real right now? Who are you knocking out of the top 10? At worst, he is 4th. Who are you talking about, Jay Hammers? Kobe. I feel okay.
Definitely in the top 10.
Basketball did not start in 1998. All right. Jordan was a 6-time defensive player, which separated him from LeBron. LeBron in his prime was a terrific defensive player. Terrific. Chad Mass says, please stop the LeBron versus Jordan stuff. I think it gives me an aneurysm. I mean, it's the conversation that's out there. LeBron has put himself into that tier. Kobe over LeBron any day. Somebody block Heather Rollins. If anybody thinks Kobe Bryant's a better basketball player than LeBron James, just stop watching basketball. Just don't talk to me about it because you don't know. I don't know what to say. Heather Hollis Reese, I love you, but I don't know. I can't even fathom that argument. Pistol Pete was the greatest basketball player of all time. If he had taken care of himself, we'll never know, will we? Yes, he is. Got that killer instinct. Work ethic was unbelievable. He's the top. Isaac Sparks, Kobe's killer instinct is so great. He missed the playoffs 3 times in the prime of his career. His killer instinct is so great. He had the worst Game 7 performance by a superstar in history. His killer instinct is so great, he rode a better player to his first 3 titles. Get out of here with that. LeBron James has more buzzer beaters in the NBA playoffs than Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan combined. That's not a made-up stat. That is a fact.
What's for lunch today?
I have no idea. I'm going to go to Cox.
Favorite place?
Oh, I love Cox. Kobe has better shoes. That's it. Who said this? Bill Anderson. I don't know who started the NBA talk. Somebody asked me the question, so I answered it. You guys know that whatever you ask, we'll talk about it. I have no problem talking about whatever you want. So I know this is not the place for the NBA talk. But if you guys ask about it, I'm going to talk about it. Jay Hammer's 6-0 in the finals versus 3-5 is not a real argument. That's Jared Mansour that said that. It's not a real argument. Michael Jordan played crappy teams in the finals. If Michael Jordan ever ran up against the prime Golden State Warriors or the peak San Antonio Spurs like LeBron had to deal with, he would have lost one. He would have lost. Heather Hollis Reese, that's not true. You have not played more basketball than me. I'm sorry. You've not. Round one buzzer beater and everyone is losing their mind. Chill. I was on this before last night. Any update on the 3 B-ball players that declare for the draft? Well, I think Holman is back. I think Nick Weatherspoon is back. Quindaria Weatherspoon is not back yet, and Peters is not back. They're expected back, but right now you got 2 of the 4 back. Is Tom Brady the greatest of all time, though? Yeah, I think he has to be. And I don't like him. I hate the Patriots, but I don't see how Tom Brady's not the greatest of all time. I just don't. Jay Hammers, I don't think she does. Will Peters return? Peters should be back. Peters should be back. I don't know that. It's certainly not a sure thing yet, and it's until he's back, he's not back. So we'll see. Boy, this took a turn. This got physical out here. Heather Hollis Reese, I don't mean any disrespect. You might have played 10 years in the WNBA, and in that case, yeah, you played more basketball than I did. But I'm not trying to disrespect you. I just don't see any logical way to say player A is as good as player B or C. Jay Stubbs says Peters is gone. Bet. Well, that's a possibility. I hope not. I don't like Tom Brady either, but how could you not say he's the best of all time? First Mississippian taken in the draft, Mark Wilson? I don't know. Good question. So what's going on with MSU sports? Thank you, Toby Denton. Big weekend in baseball. Huge weekend in baseball. NFL draft tonight. Martinez Rankin will go this weekend. I think Mississippi State won't be a big story in the draft this year, but next year, State's going to be a problem in the NFL draft. I was talking to guys around here. I think Jeffrey Simmons is a top 10 pick. I think Montez Sweat's going to play his way into the first round. We don't know what Chauncey Rivers is going to be, but I can see Abram playing NFL football. I can see McLaurin playing NFL football. I can see a couple of offensive linemen playing NFL football. I don't know if Fitzgerald will get drafted, but you can't rule it out. You definitely can't rule it out. Best cricket player of the 90s? I don't know. Jiminy? I don't know. Are we looking to recruit any more offensive line? Yes, Jonathan Philly, we are. I don't have the names for you, but State is heavy on offensive linemen. Recruiting. Is the one-and-done rule finally going to be done away with, says Kevin Wright? I hope so. It's the dumbest rule in all of sports. The absolute dumbest rule in all of sports. And there's some dumb rules in sports. He is a system quarterback. Look at what Bill B did 2 seasons ago. He went 3-1 with Brissett and Garoppolo while Brady was suspended. Randall Collins. Here's the thing, Randall Collins. Every quarterback in the history of football is a system quarterback. Every quarterback thrives in whatever system he's playing in. So, was Montana a system quarterback? I'd have to say, yeah, the West Coast offense and that much talent around him. I mean, you'll never know what Brady would have been if he'd got drafted by the Chargers. We'll never know what Montana would have been if he got drafted by the Rams. But the teams they were drafted on, and Brady with his sustained period of excellence is better than anybody else ever was. And I don't like it. I hate the Patriots. I don't like Belichick. I don't like Brady. I'm tired of them. But dang, what can you do? What's the latest on running backs in the 2019 class? Ely, Emery, and Gray. I'm told that Ely is one to watch for a decommit any moment now from Ole Miss, which will be just terrific. So entertaining. Emery from Louisiana. I know he enjoyed his time in Starkville. Gray from up in Memphis. I've heard he's close to committing, so a lot of good things happening with running backs. Charles Huff, the running backs coach, one of the best recruiters in the country. I think will be good at running back for years to come. Did you watch any softball during Super Bulldog weekend? Kenny Manning, when I got to Starkville, I drove up, where you take a left off Highway 82 there, and I drove up into campus, and I looked at the softball field. I was like, I might go check it out, and it was packed. I wasn't getting in there. So I went to the baseball game and enjoyed myself, but I did not get to see any softball. Simmons would be a first-round pick tonight, and that's just not fair for everybody else next year. I think that's correct. Junior Ray says we could have 3 first-rounders in football. Who is the third? Who am I missing? I know Sweat. I know Simmons. Am I missing somebody? I'm very sorry if I am. Huff is a future head coach. Is Brady the greatest based on solely on championships? No. If that's the case, Kobe is better than LeBron. No, you're not gonna that you're comparing apples to oranges now. No. I mean, yeah, Brady is great because of what he's done, because of how he's kept them at the top for so long. But there's nothing you're going to say to make Kobe Bryant a better basketball player than LeBron James. It's just not it's not possible. Softball was packed. I didn't get to go. Your thoughts on the new left field lounge? Has it lost its charm? Bill Anderson, thank you for this question. I am glad to be set up with this question. Landshark, I'm going to ask this question. We'll get out of here. Has the left field lounge lost its charm? What are my thoughts on the new left field lounge? The left field lounge is better than it has ever been before. The left field lounge now is more inclusive. It's more open. It's more roomy. It is better than it ever was before. I understand it was great before and it was unique before, but now with the walkways between the lounges, with the walkway behind the lounge, everybody can enjoy it. Everybody can enjoy the view. It's very festive. It's very social. Everybody's walking from box to box. It is better now than it ever was. And why is it better now than it ever was? Because for 0.5% of the fan base, the old left field lounge was great. Now the entire fan base can go enjoy the left field lounge, and I think that is just much, much better. And am I going to sign off with a hot take like that, Kevin Wright? I think I'm going to have to. Drew Newell says the lounge is better now. I think the lounge is better. I know the lounge was good, but now it's just better for everybody else. It looks sterile and corporate to me, but I like the inclusiveness. Bill Anderson, I understand it looks different, but when you're out there, it doesn't look sterile. You know, if you see pictures of it, it does look that way, but when you're out there in it, it doesn't look that way. It does not look that way. I think they made it better. I think they turned it into something that was a closed society and made it an open society. We're still the best baseball fans in the country. We still have the best atmosphere, and now everybody can enjoy it. All right. That was fun. I know. I'm way over time, but this was a good show. We talked about a lot of things.
Hey.
What?
Just saying hey.
Oh, hi. I am Brandon Walker. This has been, thank you for the questions, by the way. That was a terrific question to end on. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for being here. This is the best podcast for Mississippi State on the internet, and because of you guys that keep supporting me and supporting this show, and I thank you. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.